I'm Piers, Linney, and this is Scale Up. I'm going through the 5 key factors you need to consider if you're thinking about growing or scaling up your business. Number 1 was planning. Number 2 was operations and execution. This video, number 3, is about people. Your team is absolutely critical to your chance of success. And in some cases, you have to make some very hard decisions and make some changes. So let's get into it. So number 3 in my 5 factors to consider when thinking of scaling up or growing your business is people. If that sounds of interest, please subscribe and hit that like button. Your team is your most important asset, and finding good people is getting harder and harder as the skill shortage worsens. So you're going to have to fight and compete to get the best people to join your business and also stay with your business. I've talked about automation and AI and robotics, but people are still crucial to success, and human creativity is crucial to success. Even Elon Musk, who tried to automate humans out of his factories, had to admit recently that humans are underrated. So the key point is this, from my experience, is that if you're an entrepreneur, if you've got a startup business or even a mature business, there comes a point where you're looking at growing. You need to have a long, hard look at the people around you, the people in your team. Now, you may have started off with a startup business where you put together a team from the people who were available. It could have been friends, it could have been ex-colleagues, could have been a next door neighbour that's good at marketing and now they were looking for a job at the time. Maybe now they've found that job and they want to leave. So you need to think about, are the team you've got suitable? Did have the right skills, experience and network and expertise to grow your business and take it to where you want to go? Even when you've got a mature business and you're looking into your growth plans, you've got to look at your employees and say, are they the right people? Now, often what I found in my experience is that people begin to realise before you do that they're not really up for the growth phase, they're not really up for the extra responsibility, they don't have the skills, they don't feel comfortable. And you've got to be very open and have these conversations. As I said in my second video about operations, also a video about planning, you need to take people with you, and sometimes people, they don't want to go with you. They're quite happy doing what they've done the way they've been doing it for many years and earning a living and quite happy doing that. So sometimes moving them out of the comfort zone doesn't work, and what you've got to do as the owner, the manager, the entrepreneur is work out who's willing to either, who has the skills or who's willing to grow with you and go on that journey. Because the ones that aren't, whether they're friends or they're loyal colleagues, you need to think about how you change them out in a way that works for you and them. It can sound quite harsh, but if you don't get this right in the long run, it's going to cause you more pain, more money, and more heartache in many cases. So is the team you've got the right one for your growth plans? You've put the plan together, that's my first video. You've got the operational plan, the policies, regulations, systems, processes, all that stuff. You need to put that in place. Do they understand it? Are they capable of doing that? And are they capable of working within that framework? Sometimes people that have grown through, especially a startup, they've been multitasking, they've enjoyed doing lots of roles. They don't really want to be pigeonholed in a particular role, and they're not particularly skilled at that role, and therefore they struggle with it. What you need in many cases are experts, people who have the expertise, the networks, the experience to get the job done. Now, I'm a massive believer in talent, and you do have to give talent the chance, but in some cases you can't do without or replace experience and skills that have been honed over decades sometimes. You have to accept whether you're a startup beginning to grow rapidly or you're a mature business with a team that's been quite comfortable for many years. Now you're looking at going for aggressive growth, or maybe not even aggressive growth, just growth. But you need to take a long, hard look at yourself and the team and make a decision about, are they the right team? Do you need to make changes? Because the reality is this, not everyone is going to make it. Now, the hardest conversation to have sometimes is with yourself, and I've been there as well, is, are you the right person to run the business? Now, I've had this conversation with many CEOs, some in young companies, some in more mature businesses. And I'm a big firm believer in the CEO, the founder, is often the best person to take that company forwards. They're the best salesperson, the best advocate, the best champion for that business. But sometimes they're going to need support. That might be people working for them, reporting to them. It could be advisory board, non-executive directors, people that sort of fill in the holes that become apparent in their skill set or experience, or even confidence sometimes when it comes to growth. But there still may come a day where the business outgrows you, and sometimes for you and your investors and your personal wealth, you're potentially not the right person to grow your business. What you want to avoid is a situation where everyone around you begins to realise that you're not up to the job before you do. I've struggled many times in a business where I've had people that have grown up with the business and they've worked really hard and they've upskilled and they've trained and they've got to a point and there's potential for them to go further in the business, but perhaps not in the role in which they're already comfortable doing. And it's that difficulty of, do you bring in people that have the CV, have got the experience on paper, or people that you know will absolutely kill themselves to deliver? And that can be a really hard decision to make. And what it comes down to is having very open conversations with your current team. And also, you need to assess them in an objective way to make sure that they are capable of growing the business. So give talent a chance, but the point about talent is you need to make sure you manage them closely. And this goes for people you are giving a chance in the business to grow with it, or when you bring in new talent. And when you bring in senior people who they've got the right CV, they've got the track record, they're going to say to you, look, I've done this before, I can deliver this, I want 5-10% even more of your company to be a C-level executive. And what you've got to remember is that you can structure equity so that you can take it off them if they leave, or they don't get as much if they don't deliver. But remember this, the differences between you and them is they can leave, you can't. What happens commonly is that you see someone in the business is beginning to struggle, they're not really being honest with themselves about the fact that they can't really deliver in that role. You're busy and you want to give them another chance and another chance, another chance, or you hire somebody, they come in, they're not really working out in the probation period, so you extend the probation period. And it's very difficult when you're busy. You want to keep hoping people will eventually deliver so you don't have to replace them. But sometimes you know in your gut, or you know just from the facts on paper in terms of their performance, that it's not working out. And what you need to do is make a change, is make sure you're managing people closely, make sure you're going through the right processes legally in terms of employment law. But if they're not working out, you need to be honest with them and yourself and make a change. Because in the long run, it's going to cost you more, it's going to take you longer. And yes, you may not want to go into another recruitment process, but you're going to have to. Also, don't expect everyone in your business to work 18 hours a day. If somebody's working in a warehouse, the forklift truck driver, they're probably going to work 9 to 5. They may do a few shifts. They may help out when need be. But your C-level executives, they may be working 18-hour days as and when it's required. Make sure that you and your people understand that how they can add value to your business, whether they're doing that or not. You're going to need different people with different skills and aptitudes and also ambitions sometimes at different stages in your business. As you go from startup to scale up, you may find you need to change quite a lot of your team actually. If you're an established business and you're looking for growth, you may find a lot of the people that don't agree with you, they don't want to go with you, and you may need to change quite a few of them as well. On the other hand, you may find people that are actually excited by the opportunity to grow the business and grow themselves in terms of their own abilities and their own career. Working in a growth business with all the pressures and potential risk that comes with that is not for everybody. If you're serious about growing your business, you need to manage people extremely closely. A lot of entrepreneurs, especially in startups, they struggle with getting into this detail, managing a sales force, managing a sales director. Are they hitting their numbers? Having that conversation every week, month, whatever it might be, holding them to account. Your marketing team, are they hitting ROIs? Are you managing the numbers? Do you understand the numbers? Because your team is your greatest asset, but they're also probably, in the information economy, in most cases, your biggest expense. And this is where leadership becomes important. You need to lead your team. Anyone can hire people, give them a desk and pay them every month, but you need to make sure they understand what the objective is, they understand your vision, they fit into your culture, and understand the plan, how you get from A to B. Look at my first video, and that you lead them on the way. But you're not blind to their ideas and their feedback. Listen to it. That's why you've hired these people in the first place. Also, you're competing for talent in your business in an increasingly competitive market, and you need to make sure that your business is somewhere where people want to join, they want to work, and they want to stay as well. And that could be anything from your culture, or you even, to what you do, to where you are, to your corporate social responsibility, to your remuneration, to the way in which you engage your employees. But it's really important that you widen your talent pool, both in terms of using technology to reach out to people. People don't need to come to an office, Work is something you do these days, not somewhere you go. So widen your talent pool by using technology to allow people to work for you who can work anywhere in your country, anywhere in the world. You also need to widen the talent pool by embracing diversity. Don't just go and hire yourself again. No matter where people come from, what God they believe in, what sexuality they are, what colour they are, who cares? It's about talent. It's about, are they the right person to get the job done? It's been shown in lots of research now that diversity is good for business. Diversity means typically you have a more profitable business. Be flexible. There's no norm anymore in terms of how people work or what the working hours are. Just as long as you know what they need to do, they know what they need to do, when they need to do it by, and you manage them closely, you can have extremely flexible structures. And again, that widens your talent pool. Be creative with compensation. Sometimes you can't afford the talent you really want, and you've got to think about ways of getting them on board. Now, if someone from a big company is talking to you about leaving their business and their career and joining your startup or your growth business, there's typically a reason for that, is that they want to do that. So don't just take it on the chin that you have to pay them a huge amount of money. Say to them, look, if you want a life change or a career change, I can help you do that. I can pay you this. I can perhaps incentivize you with equity or in other ways in terms of lifestyle or flexibility or remote working. But be creative so you can absolutely maximize the talent you can access. Culture is key to business. You need to protect it. If yours isn't right, you need to change it. And that can be quite difficult because it can be entrenched into people. And if people aren't willing to adhere to your culture, then you probably need to change them. Something I've used in the past is the Jack Welch matrix. So Jack Welch is the famous former CEO of GE. And he has a matrix, there's 4 quadrants. It's about people's attitude in terms of do they fit into the culture and also do they deliver. So if somebody fits into the culture but isn't quite delivering, but you can help them move into a box where they are delivering and they fit into the culture, maybe support them on that journey. If somebody's amazing in terms of their culture and delivering, clearly keep them. But the interesting one is, if someone does not fit the culture and is basically ruining your culture or causing friction in your business, but is delivering, still part company with them. Don't delegate management of your team. Know your people. Make sure you communicate with your whole team. You should know 100 people in your company, probably by name almost, but make sure that you talk to them, you communicate, you share your plans with them, because it's very possible they have some great ideas, and make sure you hear those ideas and absorb them. There's no monopoly on good ideas in a business. So that was video number 3. People in my 5 factors to consider when thinking of scaling or growing a business. I hope you found it useful. The next video, number 4, is about a topic which is incredibly important to any business thinking of growing: finance.